Welcome to another edition of the Law Offices of Quibble, Squabble Bicker on this November 24th, 2021, the day before Thanksgiving. And today it is us. It's me. It's Brendan. It's Greg. And we are brought to you today by who? I don't know. Who's our sponsor today?
I think it's poodle panties.
No, I thought it was turkey jism.
To be part of the season.
For Thanksgiving.
Yes,
because
for
they always say
Thanksgiving.
turkey jism is the reason for the season. That's what they say about Thanksgiving.
You know, it's an old wives' tale that the night before Thanksgiving, you satisfy the turkey before his final act. But is it true or is it not? And turkey jism is made with the kind of care and responsibility that this show embodies when it comes to our sponsors. So make turkey jism the new Thanksgiving Eve holiday. It goes well with scotch, Holocaust bourbon, and the juice that you spit out of your mouth when you chew. Yes, chew juice goes well with turkey jism for a fine, hot cocktail sitting by the fire, warming your chestnuts. So next holiday, make it part of your holiday planning, turkey jism.
With your chestnuts.
Turkey jism in vodka mixed is a white Russian. It's very good. It's like a white Russian.
I hear it also doubles as a hand lotion.
Oh yes, and a floor cleaner.
A floor wax.
Yes.
You want spotless floors. Turkey
jism. I often clean my fish with it. You know that oily texture that your fish gets. Well, just rub some turkey jism on it, takes it right off. It's a natural.
Tell me about your oily fish. So what are you talking?
It's a natural surfactant. Well, sometimes when the fish has been sitting around for a while, it gets
like in your aquarium.
No, like in the fridge.
I didn't know what you're talking about.
Not your pet fish.
I thought he's like petting his goldfish or something, and
I suppose
oily.
Takes him out of the tank every so often. Like, why is he floating at the top of the water? Because he's so oily. Not because he's dead.
No, it's just oily today.
Well, our client for today, everybody, since you've gotten to know our sponsor quite well, that was the trifecta sponsorship, is Don't Be Late for Love and Hate.
Behold, trapped in a hellscape of their own invention, socially unaware old white men bound by the pretense of being fake lawyers yet knowing no law, no exquisite Latin terminology, they are inexplicably compelled to quibble over minutia, squabble over triflings, and bicker like those who value their backyards far too highly without even knowing the difference between an easement and an alleyway. At this very moment, you have entered the heart of the Law Offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker. Let's get started.
And Greg scoured the surface of the earth looking for this client for a long time. And apparently this is something that he was finally able to close as a client for the Law Offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker. And Greg, so let's see what we can do to defend this particular client.
Let's get a little historical background. And I want to start with Stalingrad, 1942.
Like, can you say that with a more of a newsreel type voice?
Stalingrad, 1942.
Here we see 500,000 Russian soldiers going into the river.
The Jerry's got the Ruskies penned in.
But we know that the Yanks are coming to save them all.
You my turkey jism.
It is very historical since the beginning of time. Love has been this thing that's so unquantifiable. No one can really define it, and yet we're so obsessed with it. Especially once literature started, almost every poem and play and story and movie, that's the climax. I'm not trying to be sensual there or sexual, but love is so important to everyone. At least we think it is. I don't know if it's something that's been propagated to us, that we have to live for love, and love is the be-all, end-all of everything.
Well, at the very least, around the turn of the 2,000 years ago, around that era, there was this guy who had a book written about him that promoted the whole concept of love back in the time where people were getting crucified just for looking at a Roman soldier.
Wait, was this
cross-eyed.
Hercules?
It was actually. Hercules was well known for fostering the concept of love throughout the civilized world.
Hercules.
And then they crucified him for it.
They crucified Hercules?
Yeah.
No, that's
Was
not
it?
right.
All right, I'm thinking of somebody else then. But
Oh, you're thinking of that Jesus fella, the
that
carpenter
guy.
Oh,
Yeah, the gardener. But
Yeah.
anyway, so and that came at a time when it was easy to be abused or killed for no reason, and so that was kind of a revolutionary concept 2,000 years ago. The idea that one should love one's neighbor, as like you love your family, you know.
As you would love
So-
your
I don't think
turkey.
he was killed for that.
Well, that was one of the messages.
He was killed for being an agitator.
That was one of the messages being propagated, though.
I thought he was killed for pretending to be the king of the Jews.
Yes.
Yeah, for apostasy, or not apostasy, or for blasphemy. One of the two.
Smashing the marketplace.
He was a heretic.
He was a hooligan. He did vandalism.
So
Just went into the Jewish marketplace.
he even had a
Smashing
gang.
shit.
He had a gang. The Apostles. That sounds
Yeah,
like a
the
badass gang.
Yeah. His
I think I've heard of
capos,
that
That's
gang.
who they were. His capos. The 12 apostles. They were like, they
Are
were
you saying he
badasses.
was mafia?
You didn't fuck with Jesus. You had to talk to them. I don't know.
So anyway, but I mean, obviously, love
went
existed
dead.
before Jesus came around. It
Isn't-
was just
Obviously.
Isn't
Yeah.
love just a nice way of talking about, hormones and the need to breed and all that sort of thing?
well, I
I
mean,
think so.
people have love
Sometimes I
towards
think
people that they aren't sexually attracted to.
Okay. I mean, I live in Florida.
true,
Tell me
but-
more.
Like alligators. Anyway, no, I mean, like family members. You'll have love for family, and you're not going to have sex with them. You're not
Okay,
looking
so
at
it's
them.
not just that. It's
And you have
it's-
love for friends as well. So there's like variations of love that exist.
There's like
it's
a
like-
spectrum of love.
Yeah, I think so. I think it
There's
starts
romantic
with
love,
being
there's
indifferent.
filial
Well,
love.
it's like the first time you meet somebody, you create like an opinion about them, whoever they are. And sometimes that's colored by whether you're attracted to them or not, or if they're doing something that's an attractive or an appealing quality, whether it's sexual or not. Like somebody
Or it's
could
colored
be,
by their color if you're racist.
yes, or even if you're not racist, it could be something that you're attracted to because of the color of somebody. Since
What
because
if they're
obviously,
what
know,
if they're
people.
colored?
What's that?
So what if they're colored?
If they're green or blue or something?
Whatever. Purple?
Yeah, I mean, that's why people decorate themselves in different colors, is because they find different colors attractive. So I would think, people are going to be attracted to people of different colors for the same reason they like different kinds of art,
Yeah.
But
Like a
But
Benetton
anyway.
ad.
what was
like
that,
paint
Greg?
by number.
Yes.
Well, I just said like a Benetton ad.
Yeah,
Oh.
back in the dark
love each other.
ages, Benetton ads were quite popular.
I was thinking more Cyndi Lauper, True
Yeah.
colors are shining through. Isn't that the song? Or is that
It
Keep
was.
going,
I
keep
think Phil Collins also
That's
did a
it.
cover of that too.
Really?
It's terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
No, I'm
No,
pretty sure,
let's
Greg.
say-
I'm
I
pretty sure he
don't
did.
love Phil Collins
think
doing
it was-
Cyndi Lauper.
It just depends upon how attracted they are to each other.
Whatever.
He could do her, she could do him.
What
So
I wanted
love-
to talk
so
about
then-
more though was
And then there was silence.
Love is like love is
I'm from
really
Portland.
about survival.
Love is about survival.
Yeah,
I think to an extent, you're looking
you want your
for.
kids to survive, so you love them and take care of them, despite the fact that they're monsters. I mean,
Sometimes they kill the monsters. I was just watching the movie Hawaii, which came out in I think it was like 1966, based upon the James Michener book from Hawaii.
right?
And they delved into a bit of the Hawaiian culture of the time, which was that if a kid was marred or deformed in some way, they killed the kid. And so that, they still loved the kid, but then still killed the kid. I mean, there was like this very poignant scene of one person taking their newborn baby that was deformed and took him into the ocean and came back without the baby. And
Wow.
so, yeah,
So
it was
That's
pretty
tough
hardcore.
love.
It's tough love. Yes, absolutely.
Floated out to sea, that kid. He became quite a surfer later in life.
I think
Yeah.
so. He
No,
became,
he became Aquaman. That's the origin
That
of
was
Aquaman.
that's Don Ho's backstory,
he found his way. He found his way to Atlantis.
and became a cop.
And then hate's the other side of the spectrum, right? So there's, love creates strong feelings towards people, but then hate is created as well in a certain way. It's like, you hear about people who
And
hate.
sometimes it's just as irrational. Sometimes I hate people for no reason. They're not that bad, but I just
You
don't like
actually hate
So it's
people
just
for
as
no
irrational
reason.
as love
You
sometimes.
have like visceral hate for people.
I don't hate them. I'm not. I dislike them strongly. I'm not much of a hater. I don't really waste time on it. But
Yeah.
there's some people I just don't fucking like, and I don't. They've never done anything bad to me. Something about them just rubs me the wrong way. Their personality,
Uh-huh.
and sometimes
Like
right
what?
off the bat, and I feel like a shit for feeling that way. Sometimes I meet someone, I'm like, I don't like this person. I'm like, great, you're being an idiot. Give the person a chance, and I do. I always give people chances because I don't trust that voice. It's a stupid voice, but sometimes I don't like people.
Well, I think sometimes the inner voice is worth listening to because,
Yeah, it is.
there are people who are like Brendan's fish. They're oily. When you first meet them,
Hey.
they have some type of they need turkey jism. They
That's why I
some
have the
kind of
turkey jism. That's what the people you hate. Next time, Greg, you meet one of those people, just walk up and just smear their face with some turkey jism, and it'll just all.
You're
the
really
problems
trying to
will
sell
melt
this
away.
product.
I am.
I've
I
never
am.
seen you try to push the
I'm-
sponsors. That's
I
hard.
didn't really sink a lot of time into the script, so I got to keep selling the sponsor.
well, it's on sale for Thanksgiving, so he's got to
Yeah,
get it out
it's-
now because he can't sell it again till next year.
No one
But
wants
here's an
turkey jism
example.
in July.
No one wants old
Here's an example.
turkey jism.
No.
Here's an example from our past. Brendan told a wonderful Thanksgiving story a year or two ago where he met, I believe, a man who had butt banded on his license plate or
Oh, no.
ass weasel. And
No.
you guys were very scared and thought, no, this guy's a
Ass
crazy
weasel.
It was
redneck. And
butthole Billy.
Butthole Billy. Even
God, I don't
better.
even remember this story. Why do you remember
You
this,
don't
Greg?
remember it?
I don't.
It was a great story. Brendan told it on the podcast where he was stranded, him and his wife. They were on a
Yeah.
long road trip, and this guy pulls up Butthole Billy, and they're just like, "Holy shit!" And he invites them over for dinner.
It's
And
butthole
he's
shit.
lovely. His whole family's lovely too, Brendan and his wife. And it's this beautiful story. But they were at first had much trepidation about Butthole Billy, as they should.
But they
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
have hate towards him. They just had
No.
trepidation. It's
This
like,
is true.
I was just, concerned that, he was gonna get out and go, you got a pretty mouth,
Squeal!
Squeal, pig. Come here, city boy.
especially with a name like Butthole Billy.
Yeah, he
Did
was
you
a
ever
road-
get to have the conversation about how he got the name?
I did. I was still smoking at the time, and I had asked him if there was a place I could smoke a cigarette, and he said, "Oh, sure." And he took me out to the garage, and he had a cigarette with me, and I said, "So I got to tell you, Butthole Billy is that's an out there license plate." And he said, "Well, that's my rodeo name." And I said, "Why?" And he explained that one of the things that he had and he envisioned in his mind when he was riding the bucking cow was that his butthole would be like a suction cup. So he would like clench his ass. And so he channeled his ability to stay in the saddle through his butthole. And he told somebody this, and I'm like, why did you do that? He told one of the other cowboys this, and that became his nickname, was Butthole Billy.
So it was taken out of his hands at that point.
No, yeah, it was not meant to be his nickname.
Yeah. I'm so
He was
glad
just-
that I
But
brought
then
that
he
up,
apparently
'cause
he owned it though. He owned
you
it
didn't
and
tell us that
put it on his
last time.
license plate.
Yeah, he
We
owned
didn't
it
learn that part of
100%.
the story last time. I'm glad we brought it up again.
Yeah, I didn't come up why his name was Butthole Billy.
There's no we, Greg. You brought it up. You can take full credit for it. You can have all the
Okay.
glory for bringing that back up.
But it's Brendan's story. It's
I know,
Brendan's
but
story.
you
I
brought it
just
up, so
remembered it.
you were the one who remembered it. You were the one who was enamored with the character of Butthole Billy, and wanted to know more. So
Great quibbling. Excellent. You're
I'm
getting
trying
better at
to
this.
give you more credit, Greg, and you are refusing it in your
All right. I
typical
don't really want the
self-deprecatory sacrificial lamb method that you.
I was
that you
using the
have.
royal wheat.
You know what's
That's a
really
royal
good
wheat. I was
with
using the
lamb
podcast.
is turkey jism.
I knew that was coming. It's like mint
What about
jelly.
with some lamb?
Yeah.
What about lamb
This-
jism too?
That's different. That's only for the springtime.
Can you jerk off a lamb because they're not in puberty yet? Would it make
No,
jism?
it'd be. I guess it'd
It's
be
a-
ram jism.
Yeah, ram jism.
Ram jism.
Oh,
Which has whole
blackberry,
different
ram jism.
connotations
Oh,
just with the name
blackberry.
Ram.
Yeah, exactly.
Wasn't Ram Jism the band that did the song Black Betty?
Yes, it was.
That's what I just said. You were talking over me.
I'm sorry, Greg. I didn't realize I was talking over
I was singing it even. I was going, oh, blackberry, ram jism.
Ram jism.
you. Well, I didn't hear you say that was the name of the band.
Oh,
Again,
okay.
just bring up the sponsor.
Yeah.
So hate is interesting because people often go from love to hate really quickly. Like I
Yes.
don't know, breakups, and it's interesting how you can go from loving someone completely to wanting to murder them.
Yes, and people have actually done that. They've gone from loving them to literally murdering people, including their children, for that matter. It's like, I think it comes from betrayal of some kind, and that creates this visceral hate as well. But I guess and betrayal can come in many different forms, not just like cheating, which is, I think, a common one, but it could be, embezzlement. It could be, I don't know, finding out that your significant other is a serial killer. It could be any number of things that could create a betrayal
Yeah.
of what you feel.
I like your very likely suspects: embezzlement and serial killer. Like, I'm sure many couples have been embezzled by the wife. My wife embezzled me. God damn it! I think that's very common.
Oh, actually, I think it is common.
I don't think it's
Honestly.
as uncommon. I don't know that they certainly don't call it embezzlement, but some gold digger whore might just reroute all of the guy's money into another account and disappear. I'm sure that happens. In fact, I know it does.
That's a
Yeah.
form of embezzlement.
I told you the story of my murdered uncle, right?
Ooh,
Yes.
I think I remember the murdered uncle. Did he?
Yeah.
Was he embezzled?
The woman who killed him basically sucked all the funds out of his bank account for her gambling addiction.
Ooh. Why did she kill him?
And then killed
Because he ran out of money?
Well, first she put him in the hospital a month before he disappeared. He found out that she was doing it,
Uh-huh.
and so was trying to get that to change. And then he was, I
He
think,
was trying to get her to stop stealing.
yeah,
the money.
stop stealing his money.
What a
Exactly.
good guy.
And blowing it on lottery machines there in Mississippi or wherever they were living. And then, and so everybody if anybody's interested in this story out there in podcast land, you need to find the TV show Snapped. The episode is Brenda Bracci, and it goes into details about this. And this is really the only reason I know anything, is because I watched the episode to find out what the hell is going on, because my family doesn't tell me anything. But anyway, and then apparently she hit him with like a one of those mallets that truck drivers use to like test the air in their tires. And so that's what she like it's like a small billy club type of thing.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
That's what she put him in the hospital with. And then the month later he just disappeared, and then his body wasn't found for a couple of years until they moved his trailer, and because somebody else had bought the land that it was on, and then they found my uncle. There he was.
Yes.
A victim of not love, but probably some hate there, I think, to some degree.
Some degree.
Maybe there was some love there.
It is season.
Sometimes
It
there's
is
A love to
season,
kill.
there.
It's season 16,
There's still
episode 8.
love.
It's available for free on Peacock.
Oh, is it free? Okay.
Yeah, if you have
I think I
Peacock.
bought it on Amazon.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to figure out how to watch this.
It's weird
I think
to
Sanchez will
find
be
out that
watching
you
that.
have a family member that this has happened to.
Well,
You
yeah,
hear-
then it makes
you-
television. I mean,
right,
that's-
exactly. And then you find out about it. I mean, I found out he had disappeared from like a sister-in-law. It wasn't even from like my brother or my dad or anybody who's like close to my uncle. I found it from like my sister-in-law, and I'm like, am I that far out of the loop that nobody tells me anything? I'm like, what the hell? Anyway,
I have an uncle that they based. I have an uncle that they based the TV show Perfect Strangers on. He was basically the bulky character.
Oh, was
But they
he?
changed it from Italian to whatever a bulky was.
What was your uncle's name? Ralki?
Bulky?
You said they changed the name though.
No, they changed the whole premise. I'm sorry, when I say name, I meant to say they changed it from Italian to whatever anonymous country.
Are you
Miscellaneous.
joking or are you serious?
I'll never tell.
You're joking.
No,
right now.
know.
Greg's on his
I have
bullshit
my
mode.
My relatives did nothing important. There's no great stories.
Well, that doesn't mean they couldn't be an inspiration to a TV writer. You know, it could have
It's still
happened.
a very bad TV show.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know. I never watched the show.
Two-Fisted Dentist, Tuesday nights at 9, starring about my dad.
Two-Fisted Dentist? What does that even mean, Greg? But why two-fisted? He used both fists. He stuck both hands in people's mouths when he worked on their teeth.
Sometimes, but that would jazz it up. You know, you got to market stuff, man. When you have a TV show, you can't just call it dentist at large. You got to be like, make it exciting.
But two-fisted.
Dentist on crack.
I like two-fisted.
It sounds exciting.
I have to say I'm a little more in love with dentist on crack as a concept for a TV show.
You know that Nurse Jackie about dentist.
I'm willing to bet if I drove about 30 miles north, I could probably find a dentist on crack.
You think you'd have to go that far?
Yeah. You got to get about 30 miles. We're kind of in the middle of the city.
Is that when the teeth get a little loose? Teeth get a little looser 30 miles north.
Yeah, you get into Brooksville, kind of where your dad lives, kind of out that direction. No real reason to live out there unless you have a meth lab,
Matt, call up your dad right now and ask him about his dentist.
Yeah, I can't see that going well.
His dentist isn't on crack.
Yeah. I don't think. I don't know if he would remember his dentist anyway, or if that even goes to a dentist.
So we've all loved somebody. Is there somebody that we've hated? I mean hate. Like,
there have been people that I have had really strong negative feelings towards for various reasons. It's like lots of people hate Trump. I've never hated Trump. I've just seriously disliked the guy for like 30 years.
I think I hated him. Definitely hate.
I don't know that I can hate somebody I don't really know. I mean, Hitler, or something maybe, but I don't know that I can hate Donald Trump. I can dislike him. Now, maybe if I met him, I'd hate him. I don't know.
I can hate Donald Trump easier because I don't know him. I don't think I've ever met someone that I've actually hated, like wished ill towards.
Yeah.
Which maybe that could be part of what real hate is. Like, you really hate this person. You want them to, you wouldn't be sad if they died. I've never met anyone like that. And I bet if I met Donald Trump, I might catch him on a good day and we might have a nice conversation. Be like, he's not so bad, I guess. He's an asshole, but
right.
We had a beer at the bar and we chatted and whatever.
I just remember, whenever you get into politics, there's so many people who hate certain people on one end of the political spectrum and the others hate their people as well. And I don't know, I get really tired of the whole hate thing of politicians. I mean, they're all kind of weasels. So it's like,
yeah, I think the word is thrown around too much. There was a kid in middle school that I fucking hated. He tortured me, like he was a kid that beat me up.
Okay.
He held me down like with his foot on my neck, like really awful, abusive shit. I hated him. Like I wanted to kill him.
Yeah.
Like I could see myself murdering that guy. That's probably the only one I could really say I actually hated. I disliked a lot of people for sure, but that kid, I hope he's dead right now. I really hope he died horribly. alone.
You don't hope that he changed his ways and became a decent human being?
No,
Oh,
that wouldn't be
okay.
satisfying. I want him to be dead. I want him to have been murdered brutally by.
That's quite strong.
Yeah, no,
For
it was.
your feelings towards a middle schooler.
Yeah, well, he was awful.
You want him to choke on turkey jizz.
No, that'd be too good for him.
Too good for him to go that way.
Yeah, because that's delicious. That's a delicious way to die.
It's like in Willy Wonka.
I just want to know how you know it's a delicious way to die, Brandon.
I've heard stories.
Okay, so you've heard that.
I have customer testimonials. I can pull them up. They're on the website.
Turkeyjizz.com.
Death by turkey jism.
Brendan's not just the spokesperson for Turkey Jizz. He owns the company.
He bought the company so he could get a close shave from Turkey Jizz.
It's all about my fish.
You know, speaking of Thanksgiving, we may as well just get right into the cooking segment because we're up around the halfway point. Somehow we made it to the halfway point without even realizing that we'd gotten this far. But before I go further, though, you should all know that somebody is a fan of Waspy Soda Pop, our cooking segment producer.
Not just somebody.
Yeah. Well, somebody unexpected. You know, a very dark, sinister character from the Happy Hour news team by the name of Sanchez Eldorado. Apparently, he is so enamored with Waspy Soda Pop, he went to a private investigator to collect information about him. And he's written apparently everything about what Waspy Soda Pop that there is to know. I mean, it's stuff that I had no idea. I mean, he came out of the blue. So if you guys are ready, I will read you what is called the tale of Waspy Soda Pop.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Pins and needles. Needles in the pins.
My butthole is sucking the chair right now. Hold on for dear life.
All right. Thus begins the tale of Waspy Soda Pop. Should I do it in that voice?
Stalingrad, 1942.
Allen Ginsberg wrote about the greatest minds of his generation. Well, Waspy wasn't one of those. He also wasn't a race car driver, a dog groomer, or a proctologist, although he often told people he was. He doesn't like Kaiser rolls, escalators, just the ones that go down, or National Squeeze Your Ferret Day. He won't wear socks, clean his ears, or walk down evenly numbered streets. Waspy was sort of an entrepreneur. What do you mean was? He's currently. Anyway, in that he never seemed to have any real job, but never ran out of anything. Waspy liked to sleep in the back seat of strangers' cars and scare the shit out of them when they were leaving for work. He would just pop up and ask about the family. He has been shot 3 times. Back in the 60s, when he was introduced to this world, he said, "Not for me!" And at the tender age of 45 seconds, he vowed to be different. People would notice him. He would stand out. He would shine. At 47 seconds old, he shit on the doctor, explosively. Also on the nurses, the anesthesiologist, and his mother. Waspy grew up believing that right angles were against the laws of nature and that the word hello had dark and mysterious meanings that other people didn't get. When he would answer the phone, he would just wait for whoever was on the other end to say something. If the other person said hello, which almost all of them did, he would start screaming, throw the phone on the floor, and run away shouting, "It's for you!" His parents weren't much better. In fact, they were often much worse. Between the two of them, they had been to the emergency room 782 times from 1943 to 1996, when they were both decapitated by Waspy after they complained about getting ill from one of his weird food concoctions. Waspy does not like criticism. He does, however, like to cook. Wispy and Wanda Soda Pop's bodies were never found. They were never missed, so no one ever even looked for them. When the bodies started to get ripe, nobody could tell the difference. That house always smelled like that. Waspy fancies himself as a good cook. Everybody else, not so much. Be that as it may, he has landed a gig on the wildly popular podcast, the Law Offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker, where he is allowed to share his creative culinary knowledge with their listeners. To this day, Waspy Soda Pop is an enigma, a mystery man. He is also a demented pervert who likes to leave suggestive messages in people's voicemail. What is in his future? Only time will tell. I'm guessing 30 to life. Okay, well, there we go. The tale of Waspy Soda Pop, which imagines his demise. Apparently, he's got a wife named Wanda and then apparently comes back to life as an enigma, even though he was killed the paragraph before. So
He murdered his parents. That's a little rough.
I know there's a lot of darkness in that particular story.
I want to
And
know
I
the
think
parents' names.
there must have been like somebody who is actually like a doppelganger for Waspy or something. And this is really that person's story that Sanchez El Dorado came across. And
I don't know. Sanchez is a pretty good journalist. I don't think
you
he would.
think so? He's
He's
got a lot of really good credentials.
on
He
the
was
cutting
once at the
edge.
he was formerly with the New York Times, I believe, and then he moved to North Dakota to be on the Happy Hour News Team.
Wasn't he on the
podcast.
St. Petersburg Journal?
Oh, not the St. Peters. It was not the New York Times. It was St. Petersburg Times.
St.
He's an
Peter,
expert on Florida current events.
So you're saying that Sanchez El Dorado is Florida man?
Well, he writes about Florida man.
I think he reports on Florida Man.
Oh, yeah. He and
We
his
were all
partner.
Florida Man. It's like Spartacus down here, you know.
All are Florida men.
If you come for one, you come for all. I am Florida Man.
Well, that being the case, why don't we just get right into the cooking segment, because apparently it's a Thanksgiving themed segment today. So let me do some screen sharing. Here.
I want to see that guy with the microphone again.
Yeah, that guy's awesome. He's
The
my
guy
hero.
with the microphone.
Yeah, the one
Oh.
that's got the no on him.
No, I think I've got
Yeah.
myself. I think I've got a photo of Waspy here. So here we go.
Oh no.
Whoa.
Food is for eating, food is for eating, food is for eating with Waspy Soda Pop.
Hey everybody, this is Waspy Soda Pop with Food is for Eating, the Thanksgiving edition. I'm going to give you a recipe you're going to want to pass on to your children, your children's children, and like people all the way down till the future when everybody's got no hair and giant heads. This is going to be great. It's going to be very simple. This is for some classic cranberry sauce. So get your ingredients. So you want to get 24 ounces of fresh or frozen cranberries, 1 1/4 cups of sugar, 4 wide strips of orange zest, plus 1 cup of fresh juice. I would suggest using the same oranges that you got the zest from. And remember, don't use that for cleaning purposes. It's not soap. Then you also want to get 4 cups of giraffe blood, half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and some kosher salt, and then 1 minced roasted snozzberry, but that is optional. You know, not everybody likes those, but you can certainly add that if you'd like. So here's the directions. In a saucepan, you combine the cranberries, the sugar, the orange zest, and the juice, cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and the giraffe blood in a 1/4 cup of water. You bring it to a boil. Then you reduce the heat to medium and simmer, stirring occasionally till the cranberries burst like explosions, miniature explosions in your pan, and mixture thickens slightly, 12 to 15 minutes. At this point, you might add the minced snozzberry if you're a snozzberry fan. The sauce will thicken more as it cools, but if it coagulates, you cooked it too long, you're going to need to use fresh giraffe blood to taste. So just hop over to your local zoo. I'm sure they'll help you out. You remove from heat, let it cool completely, and refrigerate in an airtight container up to 1 week. That's it. Classic cranberry sauce for your children and for you to make for years and years and years. This is Thanksgiving edition of Food is for Eating.
He's a lot younger than I imagined.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
it could be an old photo.
Hmm.
I think that photo is
know-
about 20 years old.
I know who that is, but I can't remember his name. I've seen that photo. That's a real guy.
Well, yeah, I
Looked
know
like a real guy.
it didn't look like a mannequin for sure.
Yeah, I think that's
Okay,
like.
after the show, Matt will tell me who that really is because I know that guy.
I
Is he
think it's
another one of your-
I think it's Waspy Soda Pop is who it is.
He's
No,
another,
he
he's another
sorry.
one of your karaoke friends, right?
No,
could be.
it's not.
No, he's a celebrity, but he's also he's a dead ringer for Waspy Soda Pop. Apparently, I didn't realize.
And maybe
So-
that's it. Maybe that's his twin. It's
Yeah.
his doppelganger. I thought it's good that we finally have like a face to the voice, you know.
I think that
Yeah.
helps. I think that
Yeah.
helps a lot.
Although I don't know why there's a guitar in that picture, but you know.
I think Waspy should make some music.
I thought it was interesting that Waspy brought up snozzberries, though. That was like straight out of Willy Wonka, you know.
Yeah, and the giraffe
Yeah.
blood made a reappearance. Didn't we have giraffe blood and something else?
Was there giraffe blood before?
It was some kind of blood.
I think so.
I don't recall.
Not
I mean,
Waspy,
it's
like and
maybe it's Waspy's go-to. Like, certain people are like go-to cayenne pepper. He goes to giraffe blood. I mean,
no, I'm saying I think we talked about giraffe blood on like an old podcast somehow that came up.
Well,
I
we've
think
been
Waspy
doing
will
this
talk
now
about it.
for going on a year and a half. So it's very possible that we have revisited something that we came up with. But, I found an interesting thing about snozzberries. Most people don't know that Roald Dahl was basically trolling us in Willy Wonka by saying that the wallpaper that tasted like the strawberries taste like strawberries and the blueberries taste like blueberries and the snozzberries taste like snozzberries. Apparently, in a later book that he wrote, snozzberry was a euphemism for a penis. So
Really?
basically, what he's saying
So
is
those
that
little kids who were licking penises.
What? First of all,
Penis
why
flavored
would?
wallpaper?
How did Roald Dahl go from Willy Wonka to penis books?
well, he wrote adult fiction as
Yeah.
well as kids books. He did both.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not
So-
aware of any of his soft porn series.
He wrote Anal Blasters 3, the screenplay.
That is a side of the Oompa Loompas I don't want to think about. There were no females. I never saw a girl Oompa Loompa.
But it was hard to say
Yeah.
exactly what their gender was, honestly.
I
They look
suppose.
male to
I
me.
guess
They were-
I'm. Yeah,
Their gender
I don't
was
know.
oompa or loompa, I think,
Was it?
Yeah.
as well as that's what their pronouns were.
But then you have
That's-
boobies.
That's what I'm going to make my pronouns: Oompa and Loompa.
I
Should
identify as Oompa. Please call me Oompa.
Yeah,
we
it's Oompa. Damn it! You will respect my pronouns.
will be 1 with the oompa and 2 with the loompa. All right, well, let's get on back to our client. Our client again is don't be late for love and hate. And so we've explored a bit about love and a little bit about hate. And then there's the song from was it Joan Jett, which is I Hate Myself for Loving You. So where she actually combines the two emotions.
We've all been there, I think.
I don't know. I don't
We
know.
I've
fall
that
in
I've
love with the
been
wrong
there.
person.
Yeah, I don't know that I would hate myself for loving
Never
somebody.
fallen in
though.
love with someone you shouldn't have fallen in love with, Max.
That's a different
As
song.
the great poet once said.
Yeah, which poet was that, Greg?
Pete Shelley.
Pete Shelley?
He was the great
I thought that was
grandson of Shelley. The
I
great
thought that was the
poet Shelley.
coach of the Alabama 49ers or something.
No, it's the brother of the woman who wrote Frankenstein.
Yeah, he would tell that to his team players every time they went on the field to pep them up.
I hate you for loving you. There was a girl that I don't know if I hated myself, but I was mad at myself that I had fallen in love with her because she was my best friend's girlfriend.
Oh, so
Wow.
you sang Jesse's Girl to yourself.
Kinda. And
Or the
I
Cars,
really,
My Best Friend's Girl.
and I don't know what it was about her necessarily, but of all kinds of girls that I sort of had a thing for over the years, because she was so forbidden, because she was my best friend's girl, it made her the hottest of all of them practically.
Man,
And
that's how it
And I was so mad at myself because it was so dumb, and I could see it intellectually, like this is stupid. And but it didn't help. My
The
little
forbidden
hormones,
love.
my
That-
little
ever
hormones-
happened?
The love which shall have no name. That is the
Did you-
love that Brendan had for his friend. Why am I going French? I don't know.
because it's the language of love.
The
Did you
language
ever-
of love.
It is the
Did you
bad
ever
accent of love, is what you're
actualize these
saying.
thoughts?
What was that, Greg?
What's that?
Did these thoughts ever come to fruition in any way?
The worst thing that happened was they had gotten into some sort of fight at a party and split, and she was crying, and he told me, he said, why don't you take that dumb bitch home? I don't want to deal with her. And I'm like, okay. So I'm walking her home.
He went, okay,
Yeah,
I'll do it.
I do it. I'll do the hard work.
I'll
buddy.
take her home.
And
Don't you
I
dare call
all
her a
night
dumb
long.
bitch, though.
I walked her home, and I went to her house, and we were both drunk, and she was crying, and she laid down in her bed, and she's like, "Don't leave," and I'm like, "Oh no!" And so I laid down in the bed next to her,
There's the
And I-
temptation.
and I fell asleep. I passed out.
Okay. Well, that was good, though. So you didn't betray your friend in that way.
No, I didn't. I told him the whole story later, and he laughed his ass off.
Is this after he broke up with her?
Yes.
Okay. But not while he was still with her.
No, they broke up maybe a couple of months later, and I was already heading to Alaska, so I had nothing to lose. So I was telling everybody all my dirty garbage about him, and so I said, I really had the hots for Jill. That was her name. Really unsexy name, Jill, but she spelled it with a Y.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Anyway,
Well, it
And now
was
she's
probably
a
her
lesbian.
parents who did
if you're
that.
out there, Jill,
If you
I still-
remember me,
I still think about you.
I cast my eyes towards you from afar often, and I thought such thoughts of you, Jill. It is I, Brendan. Do you remember? Do you recall the days?
Now it's a drunk leprechaun.
Yeah. Or High Elf from
High
Tolkien.
elf, right?
I don't know.
It's a gnome high on turkey.
This is why I never went into stand-up comedy and did impressions, because I can't keep an accent for the life of me. Eventually, everyone becomes an Indian anyway.
An Indian. That's the. Okay.
I wind up with an Indian accent. I'll do Irish, and I'll wind up as an Indian accent. I'll do something else, and becomes Indian somehow.
That's
You
an
start as
interesting transition.
groundskeeper Willie, and then you become Apu.
You're not allowed to mention Groundskeeper Willie ever again.
I think Apu's a little more charged.
Well, I just don't know who they are. Anyway,
Oh, yeah,
but I mean,
forgot.
you
Never
mentioned
mind.
them before.
Sorry.
If they're like from The Simpsons or something. But
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's what The
forgot.
Simpsons.
Shit.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting because you're such a freak about that. You're the only person I know who doesn't know The Simpsons.
I'm, maybe the only person you know, but I'm sure there's lots of people out there like me who never watch The Simpsons.
I don't think so.
I've watched.
You're the
I mean,
only one.
I didn't watch every episode, but I mean, I've watched enough to know who those two people are.
You're like I Am Legend, Matt. You're basically like Will Smith,
Oh yeah,
like the solitary one guy.
I am the only one who has
Omega
never
Man.
watched The Simpsons. I mean, I probably have watched like an episode or something
You have
over
to
the,
have watched an episode
over like the
or two.
50 years that it's been on the air.
Yeah, how could you not?
But I don't know if I've sat through an entire episode. I know I've probably seen extended sequences of it, but yeah, I don't remember.
Have you heard
ever-
this? Oh,
Have I done what?
have you heard the song "Do the Bartman" at least?
No.
I don't know.
That was
that.
actually a top 40 hit. It's
Was it
terrible.
like Disco Duck, Do the Bartman?
Yeah, it was like a rap song that Bart Simpson did. It was actually a big radio song.
I did meet the voice of Bart Simpson once, very briefly. What the hell's her name?
Nancy
Nancy
Cartwright.
Cartwright. Yeah, that's the name.
Mhm.
But we didn't really have much of a conversation or anything.
And she
That's
was on
like the-
Herman's head.
She's a what?
She was on Herman's head.
What is Herman's Head? Is that
You
like
never
the
saw
Munsters?
it?
Is that the Munsters?
No, Herman's Head was a show that lasted for it was on Fox when they started out for maybe a year. It lasted,
Oh.
and she was
Never
on
heard
it
of
like in live action.
Oh, really? No.
Yeah.
Didn't know she had live action.
Wait a second, I could be thinking of Lisa Simpson, some of the Simpsons voice.
roles. Lisa Simpson, I think, is
Never
just a
mind.
cartoon character, Greg. I don't
The
think it's
voice,
a real
I said.
person. Oh, got it.
The
of Lisa.
voice.
Gotcha.
I can't remember now.
I
Did
don't
you
know.
have a
My
crush on
interjection
Lisa?
was
Did you have a crush on Lisa Simpson, Greg?
I was already like 20 something when the show came out, but I really admired her. I liked girls like that. I always liked the nerdy girls who are really smart.
I thought
But
you
kinda
liked
dorky.
ones that were animated.
You like the
Oh,
nerdy
I-
ones that were smart,
I
like
like She-Ra.
like are you kind of into Tina and Bob's Burgers?
I haven't seen it yet. Sorry.
Oh, no, that's one you should watch.
You don't watch all the
I know.
cartoon shows, Greg? I thought you did.
No, I don't.
No.
They're different, Matt. They're not all the same. Some are
No,
good.
I would
and some
imagine
are
that they
bad.
would be different, but I would still think that you would watch
Yeah.
all of them. You would find your way to them. I
Have
think
you ever hated a non-human entity? We all have done that.
I hated a non-human entity.
Like hated a TV
Like a
show, hated
dog?
a song. Hated a song. Yeah, you could. I hated a dog when I was little. Before I
You
became
know,
a
I
dog
think
lover.
when I was younger, when I would say I hate something, I didn't really hate it. It was just like I didn't really like something, and hate was just a good exaggerated way of expressing one's lack of desire to hear something. And I've definitely taken that out of my vocabulary as I got older, so that I don't
That's
even
why
say
I
that-
asked.
what.
That's why I asked, because that seems to be a thing I've been hearing lately.
Yeah,
Word on the street, on the block, is that I know a lot of people are like, I just don't want to say hate at all. But I'm like, I feel perfectly comfortable hating things. Sometimes some things deserve hate. I don't think it's a bad thing.
Well, I mean,
But
I hate murderers. I don't know. It's easy to say that.
No, I'm saying that's an easy one. But I'm saying like, oh, there's so many haters in the world. Like I used to go around saying, I hate.
Well, you want me to hate a hard one? Mother Teresa, hater. Well, passion.
I have a friend who does. I have a friend who hates Mother Teresa.
I used to know a guy like that too. I'm like, okay, whatever.
She was against contraception. And I was like, Peter, but she like feeds people, like thousands of kids. She saved their lives. But just because she's like not giving them condoms and
there's a much. I don't know if your friend told you. There's a much deeper story to Mother Teresa. She's a big fucking phony. I don't know that I hate her, really? But she's a big fucking phony. Yeah, it was all an act. It was all for the money. Oh yeah, you should check it out. I mean,
she made a lot of money.
Yes, you know Christopher Hitchens. You know Christopher Hitchens, right? He wrote a whole book about her. Ooh. Christopher Hitchens. He's dead now.
Oh, Hitchens.
Hitchens, yeah. He wrote a book about Mother Teresa.
Yeah, the atheist.
He spent a lot of time in kitchens. They call them Hitchens Kitchens.
Hitchens Kitchens. It's a great show. I watched it for a while. He just smokes and drinks and yells at the food existentially and sort of down his nose it.
That would be a great show, actually.
Yeah, Christopher Hitchens and what's that other
next week on Hitchens Kitchens.
Hitchens Kitchens, we'll have that Australian guy whose name
Existential Crisis. That Australian guy.
Yeah, an Australian guy. Things
that. Is that the guy who calls people a fucking donkey?
They call him Aborigine Bill. No, the donkey is Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, he's Scottish.
Oh, is he Australian or English? Oh, he's
Scottish.
Is he Scottish?
That's all the same to me.
Yeah, whatever. British got an accent.
Just don't tell that to a Scot.
Yeah, things that weird things that you hate that, or I don't know, hate again being a weird word. Things that you really strongly dislike. The song "Roundabout" produces a physical reaction in me, and I don't know why.
This brings us. This is actually a roundabout way of taking us back to the first episode that Brendan came on.
Yes.
Yeah. And
so both there's love and hate for that song because
wasn't the name of that episode?
Journey started.
I believe the client
was song lyrics on trial. No, it was song lyrics on trial.
I thought the judge ruled that punk rock wins.
How would punk rock win for lyrics?
I don't know. That's what the judge said. I'm not the judge.
I don't think that we went to a judge for any of the episodes.
Yeah.
So far we've had no judgments other than our own. So
anyway,
maybe we should add that to the show for the New Year's. We have like a judge come in and give a ruling on whether or not, I don't know. We never prove anything.
We could have a special guest appearance. Guy or girl could just come on and go, and the ruling is
Greg's drunk. Greg is an idiot.
We just spin a wheel. We should have a wheel that spins and has different outcomes on it, and then that'll be the thing.
That'll be the ruling.
It's like guilty, not guilty.
I used to have a magic 8-ball. We could use that.
Yeah.
We could?
Yes, definitely.
There are wheels that you can get online that you can create for spinning purposes. That could be used for
as opposed to the other kinds of wheels.
You sound so drunk right now. That sounds so drunk.
It's that damn gas issue that I'm having. It's sticking right in the throat.
There's wheels on the internet.
I'm gonna tell you.
They're for spinning purposes. You spin the wheel. It's looking crazy.
It's the wheel.
It spins.
Okay.
And if you want, you can reinvent it. Or you can make one of your own from scratch.
What was it? Wheels and Walls. They've been around a long time,
Wheels and Walls and Hitchens Kitchens.
Hitchens Kitchens. That's where
Featuring guest Waspy Soda Pop.
Anyway, so for this fake cooking show I had created with my kids that I wanted to make different, one of the kids had created one of the roulette type wheels where you would have different options, and we could create one of those for this purpose, for litigation purposes or to give the proper penalty for whoever loses their case that's never made well. So it would be a completely impartial judgment. We could do something along those
This
lines.
isn't a fake cooking show, Matt. This isn't a fake cooking show. You brought it into fruition. It's a real cooking show. I've seen it.
It was. That's right. I did show it to you, didn't I? So yeah. Well, it was one episode and never went any further from that. It could have had legs, but the legs were cut out
on the Food Network.
It could have been a contender. It could have been a contender.
Take that, Australian guy, whoever you are.
He's Scottish.
Damn Australian Scot. What the hell are you doing? I hate you, you Australian Scot. And I love you at the same time. What?
If we ever had an episode where there's no guests and Brendan can't show up and we're bored, I think you should show that as a special segment on our podcast.
Show the American Fine Dining. The one episode.
Microwave cooking.
Microwave cooking, huh?
That's cool. It was yeah. Well, what it was is we have a ton of cookbooks at home. And so one of the kids made this wheel that had all of the cookbooks listed on it. So the idea was going to be, if it was going to take off, that every week you'd spin, or however many times it was done, you'd spin the wheel, it would show up on a cooking book, you take that cookbook out, flip it open to some page randomly, put your finger on a recipe, and that's the one that you would make for that particular episode. We only did it once, and the first one that we hit was one of the microwave cookbooks, and it was meatloaf in a microwave.
Meatloaf.
Yes.
And I'm surprised you didn't get fucking the croup from that. Or whatever.
I think I had dysentery for at least 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's gross. Cooking raw meat in a microwave.
Well, I mean, you can.
I know you can, but it's gross.
Cook it long enough. Well, I mean, that's, it is what it is. Anyway, so that's what that was. If anybody wants to find it, somehow the guys from Happy Hour News Team found it. I don't even know how they found it. I don't know where I had published it. I know, but I don't remember what YouTube channel it was published on. So I think it might have been on my kids, or I don't know. Anyway, so we were near the end of this particular show. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving, everybody. I hope you all have a fine Thanksgiving. When I say tomorrow, most of you won't be seeing this until tomorrow, at the earliest. So
happy Thanksgiving.
So have a good Thanksgiving after you listen to this, and play this episode for all of your relatives, everyone, and make them.
And don't forget.
What?
Sorry.
Don't forget.
Sorry,
what,
man.
Greg?
I thought you were done.
No, go ahead.
I said, don't forget the reason for the season, Thanksgiving, turkey jizz.
And make sure this is playing the entire time you have your Thanksgiving dinner, everybody. I think it's the most.
And maybe your racist uncle won't be able to say stuff.
You could always just fill his mouth with turkey jizz.
Yes, and listen
Uncle
to
Bobby. Uncle Bobby, I have something for you. Turkey jism. Enjoy.
Full of jizz.
The uncle who does his own research. You can shut him up.
I don't think any of us have that situation, like where you have to go to the awkward, like, family Thanksgiving. A lot of people go through that every year.
No, I moved across the country from all those people. So it's like, I just have the people that I invite to my house that may or may not act that way. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm that guy and I don't even know it. I'm like the one that,
They're like, oh God. I was that guy. We used to go to some friend's house and I was that guy. Like other couples. There was like multiple, different.
Like, oh, Brandon's going to talk about politics again.
No, it wasn't that. It was
libertarianism.
He's going to say bad things about people with Down syndrome again. We can't take him anywhere.
No, they would always like, hey, like there was the lady told me, she goes, oh, so-and-so asked about you. I'm like, oh, that's nice. She goes, yeah. She said, is that loudmouth guy coming? He's funny. I can drink with that guy. I'm like, oh, good.
That loudmouth guy. That's how we'll refer to you from now on, Brendan.
That's right. The loudmouth guy.
No longer Brendan. It's that loudmouth guy.
Mm-hmm. But no.
Because he is funny.
It's fun. But no, I thought this was interesting. We've made the transition where we're all going to one of our kids' house. Like one of our children is sponsoring Thanksgiving. Like we're going to the child's house. Like they're the adult and we're the old people that come over.
So which one of your kids is sponsoring it this year?
It's not
Or
one of
holding
mine. It's not one of mine. It's one of my friend's kids who grew up with my kids. They're about the same age.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
My oldest son is very committed to his wife's family. So he has many obligations throughout the day. So he's coming, Ian is coming over Friday. That's when he can fit us into his schedule.
So he likes his wife's family more than his family? Is that what you're saying?
No, I think she just applies more pressure.
Yeah, no, his wife likes his wife's family a lot more.
Yeah, his wife likes his wife's family more than she likes his family.
Right. So
she comes over and tolerates us a little bit in that regard. Yes.
Because he's that loudmouth guy.
He said, yeah.
Do I have to be around Ian? Do I have to be around that loudmouth guy you call your father?
Mm-hmm.
Although he's funny, I'll drink with him.
But that's about it.
Okay. Well, on that note,
We'll
everybody.
be talking about Jill Stein and shit.
Jill Stein. Don't say Jill. It's too. We just had. It still hurts a little bit.
He transferred all of his love
And it
towards
sounds
Jill
like Jill's
Stein,
too.
who is the former presidential candidate for the Green Party, everybody, in case you're wondering what Greg was talking about. This has been and continues to be the Law Offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker. Attention, all ships at sea. Anyway, guys, have a great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next week.
Your consultation with the Law Offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker has ended. You may pay your retainer at www.qsblaw.org. Please exit to the right of the water cooler and grab a candy from the front desk. We hope to see you again soon, but you need to leave now. I said leave. Why don't they ever listen? Get out! Get out!